they say the things that they need help with without even realizing it, or they say where they feel overwhelmed without even realizing it. And that's where I come into.
Welcome back to For Entrepreneurs by Entrepreneurs. I am Eric Verdi, episode 5. So with us today is Danielle Buchen with Danielle Marie Business Solutions here in Frederick. Now, just because she's located in Frederick doesn't mean she doesn't have clients all over the country and potentially the world. We're going to find out more about her business structure in a minute. I've got customers and clients and business associates that I work with. I have one in California that does a lot of my marketing for me. So a virtual company is very easy to get started now. But the success of that company really depends on the person at the top. Danielle has been doing this for just over a year. I love to interview new entrepreneurs, and I find when you have an entrepreneur that has a passion and has the drive with somebody like Danielle does, that business can just explode. And she's in a year has made amazing strides. So I'm very thankful and happy to have Danielle on. Danielle, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, so Danielle, give our listeners and viewers your backstory. Who are you, and how did you start up Danielle Marie Business Solutions?
Okay, yeah. So I've grown up in Frederick most of my life. I went to school here. My kids go to school here. I'm a single mom of 4. So really familiar with Frederick. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad and my brother own a CPA firm here in Frederick, and I grew up with the entrepreneur lifestyle. And throughout my adult life, I've kind of always just had little businesses here and there on the side. My primary goal or job was a stay-at-home mom for a while there, but I always had that entrepreneur blood in me. When I became a single mom, I needed a way to still be involved with my kids' life and to be home with them and to be active with them, but still obviously provide for them. And through talking with people, I really just felt like there was this need where business owners needed assistance. And so I started the company. I just took a shot and started seeing, where can I put my skill set to good use?
So what was your job or career or life prior to kids and stay-at-home mom? And how many kids do you have, and what are their ages?
So I have 4 kids. They range in ages 3 to 11, so about every 2 years apart. Before I got married super young at 22. I jumped right into having kids 6 months later. So that was my job for a little bit, but in there I owned a spray canning company. I owned an online kids boutique. My ex-husband and I owned a landscaping company together for 20 years that I ran. And so that's where I really polished up on my skill sets of business consulting and business management and all things administrative there.
Gotcha. So I've found through the course of this podcast and my prior podcast, Frederick Advice Givers, and I really want to dig deep, that every entrepreneur has something that they do really, really well, a strength or a skill set that kind of sets them apart. Like you might be okay or kind of not good or crappy at 98 things, but you do 1 or 2 things really well. And that's where I want to dig deep into what you do well. So what would be your superpower?
Yeah, so I think for us, or for me personally as the leader of this company, I am super OCD, and people joke that my lists have lists and my Post-it notes are color-coded. So I'm really good at helping people organize, prioritize, and put systems and processes in place for their company, whether they've been in business for 10 years or whether they're, a new business just starting out and they can't see the forest for the trees of their end goal. I kind of really listen, take the time to make lists of where do you want to be? What do you want your business to be? What do you envision it to be for people to look at it like, and what's your voice? And then kind of helping put in place the steps to get there. So whether that's getting certain systems lined up or just hiring the right people or managing the right people, we kind of just go step by step in that for people.
So I want to grow from 3 to 30. We sit down and put a game plan together to grow from 3 to 30 or to increase revenues from 400,000 to 2 million, let's just say. You help outline. Do you also help execute and implement?
I do. So it all depends on what people are looking for. So we have clients that are already established where we come in and they're like, that we just feel so overwhelmed and we don't know how to get from A to Z, or, things are slipping through the cracks and our team isn't meeting deadlines on time. We just need help overseeing our employees. Like those are all things that we do implement, and then we oversee of, okay, we create systems, we get apps in place, then we follow up and we create the deadlines, and we're following up with Johnny in accounting to making sure that like their invoices are being sent out on time, or with Susie in marketing and making sure that they're on top of their schedule and they're getting all the info that they need from the clients, so that way they can then put their marketing pieces in place. That way it's not like, oh, well, I didn't hear back from the client, so I couldn't meet our deadline on time. And it's like, no, we stay on top of things for people on behalf of their clients, kind of thing. So not only do we help you put that list together and help you like see your goal, we help you reach your goal as well. So we really just help you, make you not feel so overwhelmed, kind of ease the process and really outline how you can get there.
So tell me your journey. Like, how did you start? Like one day you woke up and said, hey, I want to start helping other businesses, or like, how did you start? Because you've been around, you've had an entrepreneurial spirit. You've been doing this for just over a year and you've already grown. And how did you get your first clients? Like, how did you get started, and how could you convince somebody that, hey, I know what I'm doing?
Yeah. So very loaded question. So I knew I had this skill set, and I knew that it was something that it would be really valuable to business owners. And I was working another full-time job at the time, right after I got divorced, and I was kind of doing this on the side where I was like, let me see, how this goes. Let me see if there is a need. Let me see if I can engage with people. I had zero money for marketing. I just really started to DM people on Instagram and Facebook that I saw were like small businesses, and none of them were local. They were all across the country. I was like, hey, here's what I offer. Here's some examples of like what I've done in the past. Do you have
So what did you offer? Like, you're DMing 30 people a day, a week. Like, what did you say I can do for you? Like, are you diving into their business before you even DM them and saying, I can help this, or you need to change this, or?
No, not at all. Because, Instagram only gives you a small snapshot of companies and what they do, or, what they want you to see, kind of thing. They don't want you to see their struggles on Instagram. So it was just more of a list of services like, hey, we do social media management, we do email marketing campaign, we do bookkeeping, we do client project management. Here's all the things that we do. Is there anything that you're lacking? Is there anything that you need right now? Like, just let us know. And I would probably send 30 something messages a day, and sometimes I'd hear crickets, and sometimes people would be like, sure, like let's set up a phone call. And that's literally how I gained my first clients. And for whatever reason, all my first clients were in California. So that's just how that worked. But these people took a chance on me, and now they're like, all of my clients have become, I've formed such good relationships with them, and they have now told me, like, we hired you for your personality. Like, I obviously had nothing to really show them. I didn't have a website. I didn't have any client testimonials. They liked me for me. And that means the world to me, that people entrust me, based off of just what I'm saying and because of the likability factor. Obviously now we have those testimonials and we have those references, but those first couple clients, like, that's just, it shouldn't have worked, obviously, but I'm very thankful that it did. So yeah.
So how does the structure work with your clients? Is it project-based? Is it fee-based? Is it incentive, i.e. Production-based?
So it really depends on what people need. So for example, through networking events, over the last couple of months, we've gained some of our local clients, and a lot of our local clients are actually realtors who I do transaction coordination for. So with that, they usually will hire me on retainer for a couple, like whatever their hours are per week. And, they'll just fire to me the contracts or whatever that they need me to do. Sometimes that includes social media. Other things, people will just hire us on a project base. And all of my contracts are 12 months. So they are for a year, but it very clearly states like, okay, if you want an email marketing campaign once to go out every month, here's what our flat fee is for that. Or if you want social media done, that's based on if you want it 3 posts a week or you want 5 posts a week, or if you want Client management or project management, those things are usually on retainer because it's really difficult to keep track of time. So we'll help work with clients with their budget, and we're like, okay, like here's the work you have. We think it'll take about 10 hours a week. They'll hire us on retainer for 10 hours a week and, just shoot out the projects to us like that.
So your superpower is operations and systems management, kind of?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that would be a good description.
Okay. So how many businesses are you helping? Like what proof factor, how many have stay with you for that entire year? So give us some stats or proof factor. Like here's your chance to shine and to toot your own horn, even though I know that's not your style.
It is not my style whatsoever. I'm very much behind the scenes person, but we will be coming up on our 1-year anniversary in the end of May. I have 3 people who work for me now. They are all part-time, but they all have their own roles, where one does administrative things, one does social media. I am the only person who talks to the client, so I'm kind of the face behind the business. But we have about 19 clients now. Some of them have us on retainer for up to 25 hours per week. So, that's pretty much, one person, in a sense, that they are dedicated to. We have all types of industries, from the realtors to aviation to landscaping to security to photographers to a sign company. Whoever needs help, you need help. For these businesses, it's people who maybe can't afford an in-house admin person kind of thing, or they don't want an in-house admin person, or like I said, they need help, but they just aren't sure what they need help with. And a lot of the way that this works is that people will come to us for one thing, like, I just need help organizing, like help me get like a spreadsheet set up with this, or help me get this process in place. And then that'll kind of fit fire into, oh, you do this, oh, you do that. Like, this is really easy. Like, you're now taking away my 80-hour work week and I'm giving these tasks to you. So this feels great. So let me give more to you, kind of thing. And I always like to tell people, I can't do what you do. I can't be a realtor. I can't be a photographer, but I'm really good at what we do. So let us take off those things off your plate where you're making notes in the middle of the night, or it's keeping you up at night, or you're on your phone checking emails. Let us sort through your inbox. Let us do your social media. Let us engage with your audience, because that's what we're good at, and that'll give you more time to focus on the important things in your business. So we went really quickly. We've grown really quickly. I'm super grateful for that. I hope we continue to grow. And it's really for whoever just kind of needs like that back end support for their business.
So I want to partner with you. What are the onboarding steps, or how do we go from an initial conversation? Do we start with like a big goal? Hey, I want to do this, and then we kind of funnel down, or how does the onboarding process for new clients work for you?
Yeah. So again, it just kind of depends on like what you're looking for. Some people come to us where they're like, hey, we just need someone to reconcile our books every month. That's pretty straightforward of, okay, bookkeeping, I just need access to your bank accounts and to your QuickBooks or whatever system you use. I have literally had a client come to me with a 21-page single space typed papers of their goals and aspirations for their business and everything that they wanted to do under the sun for their business. So it was my job to kind of read through that, prioritize it. Some things were repetitive, and just kind of being like, all right, we have to crawl before we can walk. So here's what we need to do first. And I like to give people homework. And I've found that people really like being told what to do. They don't want to have to think. So if there are certain things that I'm like, I need you to do this before I can do my job, I like to give 3 things a week to my clients as homework. Be like, focus on these 3 things. That way they don't feel so overwhelmed. That way it makes them feel productive as well. And we're crossing things off their list, but they don't have that cloud hovering over them of this giant list that they started with. I'm simplifying it for them, and I'm taking on the cloud for them. And that's my job. So, if people come to us where they're like, I'm not really sure where I need help, but I know that I'm just feeling super overwhelmed and it's too much for me right now, I'll listen to them. And, as people talk, they say the things that they need help with without even realizing it, or they say where they feel overwhelmed without even realizing it. And that's where I come into of like, all right, well, it sounds like you're spending a lot of time on admin. stuff such as contracts or, database entry. Like let's take that off of your plate because that's not something you really need to work with. So things like that we'll kind of be like, all right, where can we fit in? And for a lot of people, it's hard to give up control. I'm one of those people. I had the hardest time hiring my first person. So, sometimes it's got to start with those baby steps of just like a little bit at a time kind of thing. But we have the conversation. We kind of look at what you want to get into, what your business is like, and then we kind of go from there.
So let's just, most businesses, so you do operations, you do marketing, you do contact management. Let's say a business came to you and said, I need to increase my social footprint or ad spend. Give me top 2 or 3 places. Or are people using Google AdWords still? Are you using Facebook? Are you using Instagram? Are you LinkedIn? Like, what are you seeing now? Because I know as a business owner, and I know most people listening to this are small business owners and entrepreneurs. What's one actionable step a business owner, entrepreneur could take today to increase their footprint 30, 60, 90 days out?
I feel like Instagram has really become so huge for businesses now. And one of the things that we offer is Instagram engagement, which some people don't really quite understand it, but really what it is we find people for you. So we'll have a conversation of who is your audience, who are the people that you want to like be your followers, who are the people you want to see you on Instagram. And we'll search through hashtags or through demographics of age ranges or locations and whatnot. And doing what we do, we know what kind of numbers of followers that we're looking for, number of posts for those hashtags. We know what we're looking for. And so we'll reach out to them, or we'll just start following them, or we'll start liking their things to get their attention, to be like, hey, we're over here, we're visible. So I think Instagram is a really valuable thing right now for businesses because it's really easy, it's free, and people are on it, especially now with our current world situation. People are home and on their computers and on their phones, and that's all they're doing is just scrolling. And so, the more visible that you can be on things like Instagram and even Facebook, you can't do engagement because you can't find people, you can't search for people, you can't find your audience without paying for an ad.
Correct.
Instagram, you don't have to pay for an ad. You can, but I don't think it's worth it. I think, doing those things like the engagement of searching for your followers and searching for your audience, that's going to bring them to you. And we've seen that. We've proven that. We've grown Instagram pages from nothing, where we've created them, we started them, and people now have hundreds of followers because we've reached out to them.
So I give you access to my account. Is that how that works?
It is. So you do have to give me access to your account, but that's where we encourage people to have a separate business account and not their personal account.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Danielle, any final thoughts before you give listeners and viewers ways to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook, Danielle Marie Business Solutions. Our website is daniellemarie.co, not .com. You can text me, call me. I'm kind of available everywhere because we live on social media. That's what we do. So.
Awesome. So your ideal client is?
Any kind of business owner, really. It's really tricky because, we do so much, and where sometimes that can be overwhelming or hard for people to understand because we don't do just like one thing. But it's really just any kind of business owner, any kind of entrepreneur, anyone who just feels like they need some help, or maybe they need a second look, or maybe they need some insight, or maybe it's someone who's established, but they need someone to do their bookkeeping because we think we can do it, but then it's just a pain in the butt. So really just anyone who is an entrepreneur and maybe needs help with their marketing, but they don't want to hire a marketing firm because they just want to do things every now and then.
So what platforms do you use to get documents and or transactions and or whatever back and forth? Because I know I use Basecamp. I've never heard of Basecamp, but I use Basecamp for project managements within my team where I can view everything and then give you an assignment here and what do you use to?
So for my team, we use Slack and we use Asana, and we do everything through Google Drive. Everything is housed in the Drive. That's how we send documents back and forth. But with clients, sometimes they do have their own systems in place. And so there are people who use Basecamp. There are people who use Trello. There are people who use Dropbox. It's really if you have something in place, we're more than happy to use that. But for us, we love Drive, and that's how we do everything back and forth, just because it keeps everything nice and tidy and neat, and that way everyone can see it.
Awesome. So listeners, viewers, if you are entrepreneur, business owner, I'd say probably small to medium size
Yeah.
business. You're not going to have somebody that has 8,000 employees.
No, because they're obviously going to have a secretary or an executive assistant in place, you know,
or a marketing team or.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. All right. So one more time, how do listeners, viewers get a hold of you, Danielle?
So Facebook, Instagram, Danielle Marie Business Solutions, or my website, daniellemarie.co. You can call or text me at 301-639-2660. Any of those options would be great.
Awesome. Danielle, thanks for joining us today.
All right. Thank you.
Listeners, viewers, Danielle Buchen with Danielle Marie Business Solutions. Hope you enjoyed her interview. If you're looking for help, looking for somebody to, kind of pull you over that hump of what you need done in your business, give Danielle a call. Look her up on Facebook, Instagram. Episode 5, for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, and we are out.